Informed, outspoken, wild, fearless. This is the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Trophy Smack. Guys, Trophy Smack is the dude's favorite place to get our fantasy football trophies, participation awards, and all that other good stuff. Head over to Trophy Smack. Tell them the dude sent you. www.trophysmack.com/dudes for 15% off your whole entire order. What is up, my dudes? This is Trent. I am joined by Seth, Jordan, and Phill. We have our Week 12 reactions here today. We also are going to talk, stuff we'll cover. Jordan Love tamed the Lions this week. Mac Jones gets benched versus the Giants. Broncos win their 5th straight. Lots of good QB play, but the best QB play was probably between Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. And Phill, how you doing? Russell Wilson, you said he was going to make the playoffs. You said the Broncos were maybe going to win the West. You said that last week. Here you are riding in here, Broncos country, all on your high horse. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling great. And honestly, there's a lot of storylines that go on in the NFL, but I think there is a big storyline coming out of Kingsburg, California. Namely, I believe it happened on Wednesday. Okay. A lot of people have traditions, right, in their families. Lots of people have traditions. Would you guys all agree to that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So as an example, every once in a while, or for the most part, when my back's not injured, I will run a 5K on Thanksgiving, just as, a turkey trot, as they say. Jordan, you have a tradition. What are some of the traditions you guys do?
On what?
Thanksgiving. Come on. I know you have a couple of traditions. Just name one.
I gamble and watch football all day long, Phil.
All right. That's a tradition.
That's good.
We also, Trent has a tradition in his family, and it usually happens whenever one side of his family gets together. And Seth married into that family, so I think now he's part of the tradition.
Unfortunately.
And he used to be a kicker.
He used to be a kicker. This is true.
He used to be a kicker. And so what is your tradition, Trent? Just walk us through it. Talk to me a little bit about what happened, because I was expecting big things. There's been a lot of trash talked in the last year about his kicking capabilities. And so I just want to hear a little bit more about the tradition, how it went. I'm expecting this guy to be riding high with a trophy smack. We could probably do a little bit of a promo here, a trophy smack belt for him winning that kinky contest. But I don't know. I don't see the belt. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm worried, frankly, for the sake of the pod and how much trash we talk. I'm just going to pass it over to you, and Seth, just feel free to interject.
Let me just talk. Trent's not going to talk.
Should I mute Seth? Should I mute?
Yes, mute.
My grandparents have a football field at their house. It's 60 yards. It's not regulation. They also have 2 field goal posts. Very cool. It's wonderful. We have a kicking competition every year. It's the 2nd year we've started doing this. I made my first PAT. You have to make a PAT, and we just keep going farther by 5 yards, farther and farther. Seth was a high school kicker in high school.
Okay, let me talk.
You get 2 opportunities.
Let me talk. Okay, so listen. I go out there. Okay, half the people are taking off their shoes. Okay, the grass is wet, and I'm like,
you're stuffed on turkey.
Yes, I'm actually not that full. I didn't stuff myself, unlike most people. So I am going out there because I'm I gotta make this. I was a high school kicker. I have to make this one. I go out there and I shank him. Okay, I didn't take off my shoes. On the first one, I slipped bad. Okay, I slipped, completely whiffed. Second one was actually
it's like a 10-yard field goal. Why is he taking a running start? I did one step and boom.
No, but let me just say this. I and maybe one other person, and the only one trying to kick this right. The rest of these guys are lining up in a straight vertical line behind the ball and run, shuffle, and toe punch this thing. Okay, it's not even actually kicking. They're just running up, shuffling, and toe punching it. Okay,
it's not kicking. Then what is it, you moron?
I will say they did make it. Okay. But then I proceeded to kick for somebody else who wasn't there. And if I would have won, I would have said, hey, I didn't win. This was for somebody else. And I actually made it farther than Trent. I took off my shoes, kicked the ball right, and made it farther. I think the farthest one I kicked was 35 yards, but that's not far. Okay. It's not far.
It's not bad for the average. It's
not bad. But technically, I didn't do it. I kicked for somebody else because I lost on the PAT. Okay. I missed the first 2.
What about
Is there any apologies?
What about the Turkey Bowl game after, Seth? Did your team win or did my team win? I can't remember.
I don't know, Trent, but I think you caught the ball one time, so let's just leave that.
No. I had 3 catches. I got stopped on the one, and I had a pick that sealed the game. Did I
Yeah,
have an
off like
interception?
3 tips, and it
I
just
don't care.
happened to
Maybe you
fall
should
in
learn
your
how to
lap.
catch the ball, Butterfingers, which isn't a sponsor of
I
this
never
pod.
dropped the ball.
Okay.
The
Enough
thing
with-
is, Seth, hey, you just didn't want to turn it on. It's technically Trent's family. You didn't want to just shame him in
And I
front of
I will say, when you are playing like 9 receivers versus 10 defenders in a very small field, you are hardly going to be open. But Trent happens to be open on his 3-yard out route, So
his 3-yard hook.
scoreboard.
He got 3 yards, and the rusher was already coming. It was 5 seconds.
Did our team have more speed than Seth's team? No. Did we have more height? No. Did we have an higher average of weight? Yes. Did we have bigger hearts? Yes. Did we win the game? Yes. Were we down 2-0, came back and won 3-2? Yes. So, Seth, I don't want to hear it. You lost, and that's just the way it is. Week 12, I think we're boring people with this. Jordan's getting bored. Seth's getting a real kick out of this, I'm sure. Week 12 takeaways. Jordan, Phill, you're all in here on your high horse. Jordan, king of the jungle, Jaguars fan. Jags beat the Texans. That's a big game.
Jag Daddy.
I have one. You know what? I have the date marked on November 5th. We had a pod, and the Jaguars had just gotten killed by the Niners, and the Texans had just beat the Buccaneers. And you guys asked me, can CJ Stroud win MVP? And what did I say? No, because he's not going to win the division. And what happened? All these people over on the social media came at me saying, "Oh, you're an idiot. This, and this. You wearing you doing the pod in that stupid Jaguars locker room background, and the Texans are going to win the division." You know what happened? What happened? The Jaguars went into Houston and won the game in line to win the division. You guys can all shut up now and be quiet because the Jaguars are winning the division. Duval.
Here's the deal, Jordan. You have to admit CJ Stroud deserves to be in the MVP conversation. He played his tail
he did
off.
really good.
They missed by a foot. It was a doink. It was a doink.
You're not going. They have to win the division. They're not winning the division.
I don't think you should have to win the division to get MVP. I think CJ Stroud is playing really good and deserves to be in that conversation.
If you look at all the history outside, I did this. I looked it up. I can't remember the exact stat. Like the last 20 years, 18 of the 20 MVP winners are division winners. And I think the one exception was, I think, Adrian Peterson, maybe. And the other exception was, I think it might have been, it was another like quarterback, and they went like 13-3 or 12-4 and didn't win the division or something like that. But they were like number 2 in the number 2 record.
Who do you think deserves it then?
I haven't really, but I just know that Stroud's not winning it. And all these people on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, coming at me because they're saying that they're going to win the division, he's going to win MVP, whatever.
Okay, I think he played good enough to be in there. I think he got his team.
Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP. Jalen Hurts.
That's what I thought you were going to say. That's what I thought you were going to say.
That was the first one I thought you meant. Maybe McCaffrey.
Yeah, maybe McCaffrey.
And no shot of a wide receiver. No Hill. No. I mean, if anyone's getting on the Eagles, it's definitely going to be Hurts, but no Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's had a tremendous impact.
Tyreek Hill through 12 games, 88 receptions, 13, 24, 10 touchdowns. It's crazy.
Those are nuts stats.
That is crazy.
Let me see if I can pull up the
McCaffrey.
No wide receivers ever won MVP though.
Was Adrian Peterson? So no, Adrian Peterson was too long ago. I was going to ask.
Hey Trent, how does this make you feel that Dak is the number 2 quarter or the number 6 fantasy producer right now?
He's playing really well, but he's feasting on really bad teams. I want to see him do it against a good team. I guess he played really well against the Eagles. But yeah, no, I feel pretty good about Dak and how he's looking.
Okay, so I got the MVP odds up. Jalen Hurts plus 125, Mahomes plus 350, Lamar plus 400, Tua plus 800, Dak plus 1,000, CMC plus 1,600, Purdy 1,700, and Stroud 1,800, and then Lawrence at 3,000. Tyreek Hill's 4,500, so 45-1.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Russ is at 10. 100 to 1. Dobbs is at 150 to 1. I honestly think if I had to make a bet right now, I kind of think the Dak bet might be your best one, but at 10 to 1.
If he could keep this pace up and they don't win the division, you think he gets?
I don't think so.
I'm just trying to think like where are they at division?
I think they're 2 games back. The problem is the Eagles just find ways to win.
The Eagles losing today would have helped that quite a bit. And I think that would have dropped Hurts's odds quite a bit if they had lost today. But them winning helps that quite a bit.
They just find ways to win, and it's hard to beat those guys.
In that game, we can talk about that game, but that game went back and forth.
And that was a fun game. It was a
really fun game. The Eagles find ways to win, and the Bills find ways to lose. Like the Bills were missing field goals. I did think that maybe I'm not a huge horse collar fan. I thought the Eagles maybe got away with a horse collar on that 1 3rd down that they called intentional groundings on Josh Allen on. But hard kicking conditions, Eagles just kept it going. You know, I did like what Tony Romo said. The Bills ran the tush push, and he said, this is a great team to watch defend the tush push because these guys actually play against it a lot. So the more film we can get on the Eagles,
but do you think
defense,
they do? I don't think they play against it. They're not doing the tush push in practice.
Not in practice, but I bet they kind of know because I think they practice it and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a rugby coach come in and work with those guys for
I think they see it and they know it, but I don't think they're like playing live defense against it in practice.
Oh, probably not live.
That'd be really dumb, I would imagine.
Especially with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so, but Jordan, just naturally being around it, like you are a coach. You are a coach. Like just naturally being around it and watching it, you're in your head, you're like, okay, I can kind of figure out where I'm going to dive.
I just think if you do it correctly, it's almost impossible to stop. But the amount of teams who do it incorrectly is amazing.
What I have not seen is the Troy Polamalu defensive version of it. Like if everyone knows
they try to jump over it, but when you jump on the pile and your body has no momentum to move because you land on the center, the quarterback, and the 2 guys behind the quarterback, you have nowhere to move your body. You have nothing to push off of. And the pile just moves you with on top.
You never saw like the Troy Polamalu one where he clears the guy and pulls him back.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Parsons kind of did it.
He can't though.
Oh, did he train? I didn't see it.
Parsons got on there, but what happened was he met Hurts, and the 3 guys behind him just kept pushing him.
No, the thing that I'm saying is I think Seth is right. But when Troy Polamalu did his, he almost like did like an RKO on the quarterback. Like he cleared everyone and just like basically grabbed the quarterback and went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying. I just think it's too. I don't think
you're right.
Any.
I think they're too close.
You're not stopping the Eagles.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like they're almost at 95%. Like that is crazy. 95%.
Watch the NFC West Championship come down to a tush push, yes or no happening, and then they get stopped. That'd be crazy. I'm calling it right now. Throw those bets. What are those betting odds, Jordan? Get them to me.
The NFC West Championship? I don't know what you're
Sorry,
saying.
the NFC Championship. NFC Championship. Excuse me.
The NFC Championship?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Every team have to have a guy that can do that. You know, like the Cardinals today, like, for example, I have Kyler Murray. They took him out to do the tush push. They put Clayton Tune in, and he ran the tush push. Like, I feel like there's got to be teams out there that have, like, guys that can take snaps. I don't know if you want to do it and do the tush push with a different guy and save your quarterback, because that's one thing that could happen is Hurts could get hurt with how much he's doing the tush push.
I will say, though, like, it's not like he's the first quarterback to be almost nearly unstoppable on the 1 yard. Tom Brady was really good at the 1 yard sneak.
You're right.
Yeah.
If he got down there on 4th and 1, he really wasn't being stopped. Like they didn't do it the tush push, but Tom Brady was really like he was almost unstoppable on 4th and 1 or within the 1 yard line at the red zone or whatever, like at the goal line. Like Tom Brady was pretty. I'd be curious what Tom Brady's percentage was on QB sneaks converting it.
It's up there. They used him more in a goal line situation, though, not as much as all the way up and down the field.
But I think that's a Belichick thing. Like, imagine if he had a more aggressive coach,
Yeah.
They would have been doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. But yeah, that game was crazy. The Jags game, Jordan, like switching back over to Jags Texans. Another thing that kind of surprised me about that was the Texans, the Jaguars got down to the 1 yard line right before half. They go for it on 1st and goal with 2 seconds left, and they get stuffed. Etienne gets stuffed. So the Jags did not have the momentum going into half right there. They didn't settle for the 3. So that just shows and finally, Calvin Ridley, back-to-back good games. Maybe he's catching fire right now. Maybe too late for your fantasy team, but he is catching fire right now. He's playing really good. I think back-to-back 15-plus point games. Zay Jones is kind of the factor that's helped him out. It's kind of what everybody says, and it's kind of true.
It's like 2 really good weeks for Trevor Lawrence back-to-back, too.
Yeah, if Trevor Lawrence can keep this consistency, they will be the number 1 seed in the AFC, which would be really nice to not have to go to Kansas City they're the 1 seed right now in the AFC.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Unless
no,
the Chiefs
they're
are tied.
No,
With
you got
the
4
Ravens?
teams. You got 4 teams at 8-3, Trent. You got Baltimore, Kansas City, Jacksonville, Miami are all 8-3.
Okay. Baltimore's 9-3.
Sorry, 9-3. Yeah, sorry. They just
What about Chargers tonight? That was just they're rough to watch. Like they're fun to watch, but they're rough to watch. They aren't good. You're right.
Them and Buffalo are not going to make the playoffs most likely, which is crazy.
I don't think you can. Yeah, it's weird with Buffalo because Broncos, Browns, Texans, and Colts all hold the tiebreaker over the Bills. And the Bills are really talented, but you got 5 weeks left with Josh Allen? I think it's possible. I think they can squeak away in there. And there'll be a team, if they get in there, you are not going to want to play them. Like they're a team that might upset the 1 seed.
All I know is that the bottom of the AFC is going to be very weak. If Buffalo and if Buffalo doesn't get in, you might see the bottom 3 seeds like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Indianapolis. That's the 3 right now, or Houston, or Denver.
That could be Denver, and there's a decent chance it could be Denver given the schedule the rest of the year. And I haven't seen actually Indianapolis's schedule, but it's wild to me that Indianapolis is on the cusp of making the playoffs with Gardner Minshew.
Well, AFC South, I think, is going to be really tough next year. We got Richardson coming back, seeing how he does. You have CJ Stroud, and you have Trevor Lawrence, and we don't really know what's going to happen in Tennessee. I think it's too early to talk about Will Levis, but that could be, the future division of just all the gunslingers there, Jordan. It could be pretty crazy.
Did you see what Trevor Lawrence said when they asked him about if he's excited to play CJ Stroud every week? And he said, no, I want all the teams in our division to suck. He's all, I want them to all have crappy quarterbacks.
I don't blame him.
I would agree.
Phill, Broncos 5 in a row though. You kind of called your shot with the Broncos. I think there was an off-season bet on who would win, how many games the Broncos would win. I believe it was 7. They're at 5 right now, so they're 3 away from you winning that bet. Maybe we give Sean Payton Coach of the Year. Does he deserve? He deserves to be in the conversation. You don't think so, Jordan? You don't think?
Not right now. I don't think.
I think Dan Campbell. I think it's probably going to be Dan Campbell. To be honest,
I think it's Campbell, Tomlin, or Sean Payton. You have to agree what Payton's doing over there. He's not having Russ throw the ball. Complete game managers. 4 of their last 5 games have had over 120 rushing yards. They just do what works. Russ is game managing. He had a rushing touchdown today. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Browns. Their offense looked okay versus the Browns, and the Browns have a really good defense. So I think Sean Payton deserves to be in that Coach of the Year conversation.
Yeah, imagine if he had a good quarterback too, right?
Yeah, 5 straight wins. I believe the Broncos are 6-5. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, so 6 wins. They're they won't be.
There's a lot of coaches you can give Coach of the Year to this year. The Cleveland coach too. They're 7-4. Cleveland is 7-4.
Yeah, with bad quarterback play.
And Pickett's 8, or the Steelers are 8-3.
Steelers had their first
7-4.
The Steelers had their first 400 plus, offensive game today of the season with Canada gone. Najee Harris had 99 yards rushing. Did anybody see that coming?
Trent.
Is that the worst thing ever?
Don't want to talk about it.
Everyone was on the. One guy said if Jaylen Warren doesn't fumble early on, he probably gets the bulk of those carries.
They tied with the same amount of carries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just didn't perform then.
Yeah, I don't.
Sorry.
The one drive, Jaylen Warren did all the work, and then Najee comes in and gets the touchdown.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Bijan.
Bijan's back, man.
Bijan.
Unleashed. Finally. Did a little video on Twitter today.
Saw that.
Got some guy getting mad at me about the guy's making fun of me saying like fantasy football is what's wrong with the NFL, how I'm a stats nerd, called us the fantasy football clowns, goes off on me. I click on his bio. The guy's into flight simulators. It says like flight simulators and gaming. I'm like, hey man, like you can make fun of us all you want, but like you're the one doing flight simulators. You know what I mean? I mean, those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, right? Like, I don't know. And he's like, flight simulator is way cooler than fantasy football, you nerd. And I just said, okay, sorry, buddy.
Are you talking about Split the Spaceman?
Chief.
Yes.
He called you Staff Monkey Chief.
Yeah, Stat Monkey Chief. So I don't know.
That is weird.
Yeah.
I don't think that guy realizes like aren't most like NFL fans like don't most of them like casually at least play fantasy football.
It's
Like
true.
I would think it's more than 50% of people who watch football do fantasy football.
Oh yes,
Or
easily.
males and adult males.
Absolutely.
What does it feel like to be called a nerd for the first time in your life?
Yeah, Trent is the opposite. Of a nerd,
I don't
guys.
know, Jordan. I just feel sorry for how you felt in high school, though, is all I will say. Like, I don't like it didn't feel good. It did not feel good. I'm glad it wasn't my personal account. I'm glad it was, the fantasy football dudes account. So like,
At least he wasn't called a casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you would have called me a casual sports fan nerd, I would have lost it.
To get the full
all I
effect, he
know
also
is
wedgied
that-
himself.
Oh, what?
If you have
That was
lover
such a
of
dumb
cheap,
joke. That was such a
you have
dumb
lover
joke.
lover of cheap sunglasses in your bio, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, read his whole bio, Jordan.
Gamer and flight sim enthusiast, lover of cheap sunglasses. Spliff the Spaceman, and his handle is at Skydancer62. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the
I
guy
thought it was
literally
Seth's Burr.
is in the tweet I'm looking at, literally has like he's like Star Wars gaming. I don't know, and it says this will be my fleet going into the new year. Covers all my favorite manufacturers and even has a little alien stuff in the mix.
Dude,
I don't
the guy
think
can
talk about the nerd. Who's the nerd in this scenario right
I know.
now?
I'm just
at least the things we do and watch are like actual real life things, like
Yeah.
actually they exist.
Yeah, fantasy football is a real sport. It should be in the Olympics, honestly. Flag football is.
Oh man.
Guys, if you don't want to lose, if you don't want to be like the Texans and lose on a game of inches, you need to head over to Manscaped, guys. Manscaped's the dude's official sponsor for toiletries, shavers, razors, lotion. And they got that nice lotion, after you work out. They got those towels you put on. Head over to Manscaped. Promo code DUDES20, 20% off your whole entire order, guys. Really helps us out. Check out those Cyber Monday deals and then tag on that DUDES20 on top of it right there. Manscaped, all your toiletry needs. I got that nice little go bag. I take the gym every single day. What else we got here, guys? We don't have any starts and sits to recap. We will have, Who Hurt You coming up. Any other NFL stories? Thanksgiving Day. We are a Lions pod. Phil has a One Pride bumper sticker on his
Correct.
minivan.
Correct.
Jordan Love went after him, man. Jordan Love looked really good.
I thought your tweet was good. Are the Packers back or are the Lions back? And it took me a second to like realize what you were saying there, but it was a scary tweet. Like,
it was a scary tweet.
It's a scary tweet. Like, I don't think the Lions are back for what it's worth. I think the Lions are going to bounce back. I think it was a weird day. People are more, they're thinking about their families. Dan Campbell's a family guy. So I have a feeling that he probably was just like, hey guys, let's just get in there, get out and think. People are thinking about their families. They will be back next week. I actually think they have Denver next week. But anyhow, I think it was a fluke, frankly. I don't think it was. This is not a long-term. They have the Saints next, excuse me. This is not a long-term losing streak that we're going to be starting.
I think it was the conversions, like their 4th down conversions. Like they did not convert on 4th down. I think they're 0 for 4 or 0 for 5. So there's your problem there. Like if you're going to go for it on 4th down, like you got to make half of them. Like you're going to lose these games if you're not converting on 4th down. And I think some of them are in their own territory too. So it's a problem, man. And Jared Goff throwing 2 picks, like you're not going to win games when you play like that.
I won $55 on that game that I will then be donating back to the city of Los Angeles, because I got a parking ticket for about the same amount. So that's less than ideal.
What platform are you using on that? What platform, Phill?
I was using Underdog, actually.
Underdog is a great place, for best ball drafts. They got some nice plays where you can pick the higher and the lower each game. We really enjoy it. Head over to Underdog, enter promo code dudes. They will match you up to, I believe, $500. Underdog is a really fun place to get after it. Be like Phill and pay off all those parking tickets. You're making fun of Seth. Where did you park? Did you park in the handicap stall again
I was in Los Angeles and I was at a restaurant and I was getting quarters. I get back to my vehicle and I'm seeing the guy, he had just sat down in his vehicle. And so I'm like, please no. I see that red stripe on the thing. And I'm like, I was literally.
Did you tell him?
I told him, I'm like, hey man, like I'm on my way back to put some quarters in this meter. Like, can you cut me some slack? And he was like, no, sir. Once the ticket is written up, I can't unwrite it. And I'm just like, come on, man. I was being nice.
No, that is not true. That liar could physically rip up the ticket and throw it in the trash. That guy's a straight up liar. He's meeting his quota. That guy is a jerk. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if your job's to write tickets, but if someone is like, dude, I'm going to pay right here. Here's literally the stack of quarters I just got. Like,
yeah, no, I had the stack of quarters that I was about to do
garbage.
it. And I was walking with one of my daughters. I'm like, okay, maybe this guy will show me a little bit of grace, like help me out here. It's very clear that I'm going to put quarters in this thing. And he's like, no. So I have to call tomorrow, hopefully, and see if I can to get this thing down. I literally was doing the right thing as a citizen. The restaurant took a little bit too long for me to get my quarters. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the deal. It's like they have to create these jobs where, parking lot meters and stuff like that. So all the hall monitors in high school have something to do when they grow up. Seth knows what I'm talking about, that he was good at that hall monitor. He had the nice little satchel he wore across his chest. High school. But no, that is so weak, Phill. That should have been your diva of the week. People who give people tickets. I don't think those people listen to this pod. So I think you can go at them as hard as you want. We can go back to that. But speaking of, just people, people, I don't know. The fantasy dad, he was sorry he didn't send us a video on Thanksgiving. He has something right now. I'm going to play it for you guys. Cool, and then we'll get into our all the other football stuff.
What's up, my dudes? The dad has been pondering lately. There's one thing I like better than fantasy football, and that, maybe because of my age, is the Beatles. Great things coming for. And I was sitting around thinking the other day, who of you four are the 4 Beatles? Now, Trent, my dude, you'd be the John Lennon of the group. You're the guy that brought it all together, made it all happen. Maybe the leader of the group. I don't know how the other 3 feel about it, but that's how I see it. Now you got Seth. He'd be the George Harrison of the group. The young buck, up and coming. For you know what his takes are probably going to take over all of us because, trust me, it's harder to keep up with the game as you get older. But for now, the guy with the main takes would be the Paul McCartney of the group, would be my dude Jordan with the hot takes every week that tend to line up with what the dad thinks about, the old fantasy takes week to week. Now, Phill, take this as a high compliment. You're the Ringo, my friend. You're the humor. You're the backbone of the group. And together, you guys, that's the Beatles, the Fab Four.
Every week. It's always good. I don't know how he thinks of this stuff. Ringo, how you feeling, buddy?
I honestly was going to say I hope he said Ringo. Like, I think Ringo is unfortunately the least attractive guy in the Beatles, which I took that as a little bit. I took that as a little bit of a dig. We have a
He's
same
also
size.
5'2".
We have the same schnoz style, right? We both have bigger noses, but I'll take it. Like the guy was back there, slapping the sticks, I don't know what you call it, beating the drums. And I can dig that, I will take the backbone of the pod. I think the only beef that I had is the part where he said that Trent's the leader. I kind of always felt it was a little bit more like Jordan, but we'll
Favorite Jordan's looking up Beatles songs right now because he doesn't know any of them.
Hey, I gotta be completely honest right now. I only knew John Lennon. I didn't know any other of those guys.
Seth, you are so young and naive.
I was just trying to look up. I'll be honest. If I hadn't took the history of rock and roll class my first semester of college, I probably would have no idea what he was talking about. But I was just looking at a refresher of what Ringo looked like, what all the Beatles looked like. But I actually recognize all the names because of my history of rock and roll class I took in college.
School of Rock. That's cool. Seth said his favorite Beatles song is Be True to Your School, I think. But anyways.
That was a good video. I will say, I don't know how he comes up with it each week, but I think that's overall was a a good
video. Guys, if you didn't see it, if you didn't hear it, if you didn't see it, he's sitting in his garage. Go check us out on YouTube at tffdudes. What else we got here? It's kind of we had a weird slate. We had so many games on Thursday. My Seahawks gang, you guys, hanging in there okay after that beating?
Oh, well,
I thought it was
going to expect it. Yeah, I was expecting
but
it.
Seth, because it wasn't as bad as I even thought it was going to be, I was like, okay, I can kind of take this until the final, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't know.
Until
The
the
49ers
final
are good. The Seahawks aren't good. I want to say last year, Geno Smith, I want to say I believe in the guy, I think he's a good guy. He's got a good heart. He's a team player. He is out there to try his best and win. But I mean, there's a reason why he wasn't a starter for most of his career. And I think last year he had a good year, and this year it's just not working out for him. And
I think they finally wrote back.
I think the Seahawks are in decent trouble to find a franchise quarterback for a while. I don't know where a draft pick's going to take us. I don't know who's on the board for the Seahawks in drafts the next couple of years, and where we're going to get quarterbacks and who it is. But who knows? You could find a Russell Wilson again, and carry you there, because we have all the supporting pieces on offense. But our defense needs to improve a little bit. But I think they did build that up. But now it's just finding a quarterback, which is the hardest thing to do.
Well, you're saying this, Seth, when you guys are literally in the playoffs right now. If the season were to end today, you'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, first round of playoffs, I don't know.
You're not winning.
Yeah.
And so you're in that weird,
playoff team. You're a playoff team in an extended playoff race who's still not going to win outside the first round.
You're in this.
Definitely not winning the second.
You're in this weird, mediocre, it's almost better just be.
No, it's just
really
mid
bad.
watching these games. It's oh man, I knew we played the 49ers. It was going to be ugly. I just sat there and stuffed my face with food, crying.
And
hey, we've all been there, man. We've all been there.
Seth, you guys play Cowboys this Thursday.
I know.
And then look, you guys will not make the playoffs for what it's worth. You're gonna lose. You might lose the next 3 games. You have Cowboys, Niners, Eagles the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, what bothers me about that? You say that all giddy and gleefully. Every time the Jags are on a burner, we're cheering for you, getting excited about it, and you're here coming to step on our throats, dude.
No, I'm getting. Seth said he wants to lose, so I'm helping him out.
No, I know.
Kick them while they're down, Jordan. I like
some decent draft picks. No,
you
can't be trading away draft picks anymore. We actually need them now.
This is like my dad. My dad's a Commanders fan, and he's sitting in the chair in the living room watching the games on Sundays, getting all upset because they're losing. And I'm like, why are you upset? You want to lose. Don't be upset. You want to lose so you get a good quarterback.
I've just never had a loser mentality.
You're right.
Yeah. Shocking to hear. I've never had a losing mentality in my life. I always try and
that
find
honestly is shocking seeing your whole life, everything you've done in your life. I think all our listeners would agree that's a shocking stat.
Well,
right there.
it's like now as a Seahawks fan, I know how Trent feels as a Cowboys fan for his whole life, just the Cowboys being mid ever since Trent was born. So now I understand how it feels to be bad and good at the same time. Whereas Jordan's like feeling happy about the Jags because they're actually like can be a good team in these next few years.
Yeah.
And whereas the Cowboys might be too, but who knows?
As long as Trent's alive,
at least I was eating out of happiness on Thanksgiving and not out of sorrow and tears, Seth. So there's a little difference there.
Yeah, it's true. I probably consumed 2 pounds of mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Were you more upset that the Seahawks lost or more upset that you missed the field goal? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
I was more upset that I missed the field goal for sure. It's disappointing.
Okay.
A PAT is not hard to make, Phil. A PAT is very simple.
Trent, I've played football in my life before, just so you know. I can understand that.
Another thing you said,
Phil is a college athlete.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing that I will say.
And fun fact, Phil was not the kicker on the college football team.
I hate you, Jordan. The thing that I will say is like I know Russell Wilson sucks, Jordo, but you can very much see the difference between a decent game manager and a not so great game manager. Like basically Gino and Russ are the exact same thing right now. And the Broncos are figuring out a way to win and the Seahawks are not. Like they're virtually doing the exact same thing.
I don't think the Seahawks have the defense the Broncos have.
It's probably true.
The Seahawks do have good corners, though. I'll give them that.
They have good corners, and I would say that our wide receivers, I almost would like them better than the Broncos.
Yeah, no, that's
no,
fair.
They're better. They're better.
For sure, better.
So
it's Gino. The Seahawks are a quarterback away, I think, from being a very good football team. It's just I don't like anyone who punted QB so that they could get Gino late in drafts. You're not very happy because what is Gino? No. Fantasy wise on the season, he is quarterback. Let me just type this in here.
Definitely in the 20s, I think.
Also, hearing someone say you're a quarterback away is like a girl telling you, like, you have a great personality, but I just am not attracted to you. Just
QB 19.
Yeah, Phil, I would agree because it's like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, it's like I can't change. I can change my personality a little bit, but I certainly can't change my my appearance as much as I may try at times. Through various haircuts and facial hair. All right, moving on here. What are we talking about next?
I don't know what else I got here. We can dive into who hurt you. You know,
Should we talk about the Chiefs for a second? Because I know
talk about
Jordan,
the Chiefs.
Like I know deep inside, Jordan, you're on one side of the coin. You're like gleefully jumping because the Jags won. On the other side of the coin, I think you're probably a little bit nervous about your boys and Patrick Mahomes there in Kansas City, but you want to talk about that at all?
I don't know. Last time I talked about Patrick Mahomes in this pod, I got called a casual sports fan, so I don't know if I should do that anymore.
Yeah, that actually really hurt Jordan. He's only a shell of himself since that troll on TikTok called him a casual.
No, in all seriousness, like I don't know. Like I think they're finding ways to win games for the most part. They got down 14-0 or was it 7-0? It looked like it was gonna be 14-0 and then they missed a field goal. The Raiders did. But yeah, I mean, they're finding ways to win. They're winning games. They don't look great in my opinion. You know, other people can disagree with that for what it's worth, but Rashee Rice is doing some good stuff.
Did Watson score again?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Scored again.
Because he
didn't do much else, but
he got a not a PI. He got a personal foul for taunting the dude after he caught the touchdown.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't know. I'm slightly worried about them. You know, if Rashee Rice can be good, that would help them quite a bit. But their defense is really good, so that not necessarily fantasy wise today they're really good, but they're just a pretty good engine. I mean, I think they shut the Raiders down after the second half. They scored like 3 points in the second half. So, yeah, it's a really good defense that's carrying them a little bit. So, and you have the best quarterback in football with the best defense in the league. So that's I think a combination to at least have success and get you a high seed in the playoffs. Whether that can win you the playoffs, whether they can win the Super Bowl without really any elite wide receivers, I think is to be determined.
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball, you know, the Raiders played Kansas City really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jacobs, and anyone play against Josh Jacobs in fantasy football today? I had some guys asking Josh Jacobs takes on Sunday for start sits, and I was just saying, I don't think you can sit Jacobs. I don't blame you if you want to, but I don't think you can sit him where off of, draft capital and stuff like that. Guys were saying like Jordan this morning, be honest, would you have said would you have said Jaylen Warren over Josh Jacobs? That Kansas City defense is pretty good against
straight up, just
today.
I would have probably said Josh Jacobs still, just because the workload is going to be there. Like I said, I would have probably said the same thing you said. Like, I get it if you just don't want to play Jacobs, but it's still probably the right thing to do is to play Jacobs. So over Warren, like I have Warren in both of my main leagues, and I actually didn't start him this week just because I felt better. Like, it was just hard to play him over like Saquon, Ford, Javonte, or Montgomery and Rashad White, right? Like, those are all guys who have similar or if better roles, So I ended up not playing Jaylen Warren season long at all.
Yeah,
we'll get to the rest of it with Jaylen Warren, but
Josh Jacobs was running back 7 on the week with 20.5 fantasy points. I think now's as good of a time as ever to transition over into our Who Hurt You segment. And our Who Hurt You segment is brought to you by our good friends over at Sleeper. Sleeper is the dude's favorite place to play fantasy football. Enter promo code DUDES100. They'll match you up to $100. They have dynamic payouts where they tell you which team, what the odds are and stuff like that. It's really a good app. I had a great, 3 days of Sleeper plays. From Thanksgiving, I went 3 for 4 on my Thanksgiving plays. I had a rougher day today, but I went 1 for 2 on my college plays yesterday on Saturday. Today, I was just a couple plays close on them. I almost had a really nice play. I needed 13 more rushing yards out of Patrick Mahomes. It was a nice little stack, but that'd have been really a nice payout there that I did not get. But who hurt you guys? What do you guys have here? Who hurt you guys today? Jordan, you got anybody?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking at who I was exposed to the most. I had in DraftKings DFS, I had a ton. Like, I had so much of Josh Allen, but I didn't have, and I had all Shakir, Kincaid, and Diggs. No Gabe Davis, which kind of hurt that. So like not having Gabe Davis, but then like I had so much Kincaid and he just didn't get there. Seth and I know for sure Seth and I were a Kincaid touchdown away from hitting like a 6-leg parlay on Sleeper.
Touchdown parlay. It was big.
Yeah, touchdown. So like that was tough, Kincaid really hurt me today in like on that parlay. Plus I had him so much in DFS. And then Jaylen Warren, like we talked about Jaylen Warren a lot. Like he got the yards prop for me, but he didn't get the touchdown. And I just had so much Jaylen Warren in DFS, and that hurt me, along with DeAndre Swift. I had a lot of like Josh Allen, Diggs, and then one of Kincaid or Shakir, and it was hard to play AJ Brown. So I had some Devontae Smith, but I ended up with a lot of DeAndre Swift on the other side of that game. And so Swift, Warren, Kincaid, probably the 3 guys that really hurt me, along with not really having much Gabe Davis, which I look back at my teams and I'm like, why didn't I not have Gabe Davis? It doesn't make any sense. And so that was a mistake on my end. But really, Warren, Kincaid, and DeAndre Swift were my biggest, most hurtful people today.
Something that might hurt our listeners is I'm going to try something a little different with the waiver episode. On Tuesdays, I'm going to be using a short-term form for Twitter and a YouTube short, and I will still be doing the YouTube. I will still be doing the email. So go sign up for that at www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. That is our dudes letter. It'll be right in your inbox first thing Tuesday morning, but I'm not going to do the pod. I'm just going to try something a little different here, second half of the season. So you can go sign up for it, on YouTube at tffdudes, or follow us on X/Twitter. And I'll have the short form there, my 5 favorite waiver ads plus, or you can get the dudes letter and get it all there. But I'm just going to try something a little different, see how the short form takes off on social media. So sorry about that. guys who hurt me today, I was the second highest. I was second highest. I won't talk about that. Kyron Williams absolutely destroyed my team today. I have CMC on my team, and I can't even, Kyron Williams goes off. So that was brutal to run into that buzzsaw today. And then Jaylen Warren, I had him in some season long. I had a touchdown play today. I needed a touchdown from Stephon Diggs. I needed a touchdown from Mike Evans, and I needed Josh Allen to throw over 245 passing yards. All I needed was Patrick Mahomes to get 23.5 rushing yards, and he got 11. I thought maybe, I thought that was a pretty good line. It was too high. So, that would have been a really nice payout because those touchdown receptions, those are multipliers, like 2.5 multipliers, and that would have really helped out my day on Sleeper. Have been really good. So, 13 measly yards short of that. Seth, who hurt you today? I know you have a couple teams that are pretty rough where maybe a guy just kind of has been messing you up all year. Calvin Ridley's not on the list today. That's worth something to applaud, guys. That's good. Chris Berman calls him a Ridley, believe it or not.
Yeah, I'll just say Cooper Kupp, that guy's hurt me all year. He comes back, has one good week or 2 good weeks, and that helps me out. And then he gets hurt again, supposedly plays this week, does nothing. And now my team's in the dumps for it. It's your first round pick. Doesn't work out. That guy's getting hurt all the time. I'm never drafting him again. He's almost 30 years old and is fragile. I'm done with him. I'm done. I was only rooting for the Rams for this guy to do good. Now I have no reason to root for the Rams at all. So Cooper Kupp, you're off my radar for the rest of my life. Sorry, buddy.
Arthur Smith belongs on the list. Guys that drafted Bijan Robinson in the first round. We've been screaming on Twitter, screaming to anyone who will listen to us. Give Bijan the ball. Give Bijan the ball. Bijan comes in. He goes off today. He has a touchdown rush. He has a receiving touchdown. The guy just needs the ball in his hands. It opened up Drake London a little bit more. I think Kyle Pitts is still MIA, but give Bijan the ball. And Bijan did all this crazy stuff, and Cordero Patterson's still getting opportunities in this game. Tyler Algier's still getting opportunities in this game. And the problem is our fantasy seasons, if we drafted Bijan, are over, but Arthur Smith still has a chance to win the division. So his opportunities as coaching are not over. So there's that. So Arthur Smith, I think I say this, and I say this for everyone, you've hurt the whole fantasy community the whole entire season. Phill, anyone that just blew up your roster today? I know you didn't win all your leagues.
No, I was going to say, with the exception of the parking meter, no one's really hurt me. I had a little 3-legger on Underdog also that ended up getting smashed with Travis Kelce not getting a final reception. And I thought he was going to get one on that final drive. He did not get one catch on that final drive before they ended up kicking the field goal. Right before the Raiders got the ball back at the end of the fourth quarter, which was shocking. He only needed 2 more receptions, I think, and I would have got it. And I ended up being 1 reception shy. So that's not really one I wouldn't say that really hurt me, but it would have definitely been nice to have if you would have just had 1 more target and reception.
Yeah, other guy like Kansas City Chiefs defense that absolutely hurt today. They had the Raiders. You thought it was a pretty good matchup. I needed all the points I could get in this league, and they got me 2 points. So Kansas City
Chiefs, Trent, Chiefs were my highest exposed defense in DFS today too.
Yeah, so that was just no fun.
Yeah.
How about some of the refing? Points. Some of the refing really hurt us, huh? Just in watching the games. Do you see a couple of the times? Did you see the call where the Denver defensive lineman hit the quarterback from the Browns a second after he threw? Not even a second. He was in the motion and threw. I think this quarterback protection, I'm all about it. I'm not saying that I didn't lose any money on it or anything like that, but it's getting really bad.
It is, because
it's changing games.
Yeah, the guy did get a concussion, but I almost feel like they kind of were like, "Oh, is he getting up? Okay, no, I'm going to throw the flag now." He didn't get up.
He didn't. Well, his head went on the shoulder pad. He used his hands, and he didn't go high. It was just the guy was coming up super high, and he just went. It wasn't.
It was just a hard hit. It was a hard hit. Yeah,
completely legal. I mean,
completely legal. Shoulder pad to the helmet, right?
What they call roughing the passer?
They called
Yes.
roughing the passer. Yeah.
Yeah, so the roughing the passer one's hard because it's like, okay, I get it if they call like targeting, right? Like if he or goes low on the quarterback, you know, and
Yep.
does that dirty kind of low hit on a quarterback, or if he goes high like for the head. But like we're seeing these ones where like guys are jumping at the quarterback to like stop a pass, and he ends up hitting the quarterback in the head, and they call that because they hit him in the head, you know. But I agree, it's like it's football. Like if he just because the guy gets knocked out from his head hitting the ground doesn't mean you throw a roughing the passer, especially if it's like completely like unintentional. Like the guy's like, oh, I have a chance of making a play. I'm gonna tackle the quarterback, and it's not his fault. The guy gets knocked out.
And
not like
DT
The roughing the
he was running around too. DTR was running around.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, what do you want? Like the guy has rushing ability.
The ref's nephew probably signs parking meters part-time or something. What were you saying, Jordan?
I was saying the roughing the passer that drives me the most crazy
When they have
is
the
the
ball?
ones where no, it's the ones where they call them for like driving their weight into the ground or something like that. Like they hit them and like they call it for like it's, you know what I'm talking about when they say like they drive their weight into the ground or they put their, you know what I'm talking about when they say
It's like, I
that.
guess you're supposed to hit the quarterback and go limp fish as soon as you hit him. I don't know.
Well, the
Like,
problem
Yeah,
is
those
too,
are the
is,
ones
like-
that drive me because like I understand, like I at least can, maybe I don't like the call, but like okay, they hit him a little bit late. Like I get that, or the helmet to helmet, or they're going low. But like when the guy just has a perfectly textbook like hit tackle on the sack on the quarterback, like shoulder into their chest, but they call him for like driving their weight into the ground. It's like, come on, like that's just like I don't know
It's
how you
bad.
supposed to control that. You're just
And it
playing hard
almost-
and you hit him. Like
It's going to
How do you
cause more
control that?
injuries if you think twisting, like some of these guys are going to start twisting so that they land on their back and they're going to end up jacking ankles, knees. There's going to be so
Well,
many
it's
you
a
so
see
many
hip
other
drop.
that
injuries.
new hip drop. It's the hip drop.
It's
People
the
are
hip drop.
tearing ACLs and ankles are going like crazy now.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a new thing. Like
So
that.
there's the
like
hit
that's
right there.
not
Yeah.
that's
So they
not
called
a
roughing the
flag,
passer
like,
there.
Yeah, that's not roughing
And
the
it was
passer.
deep fourth down. Excuse me, a deep third down. He didn't
Yeah.
hit him in his head. He hit him in his shoulder. It looks like it.
Yeah,
Broncos are a
back
physical
view,
team.
Perfect. Yeah, that's
And it
a
was like-
back view, and he hits his head on the ground. That's how he gets knocked out.
It was third and Trey, you may want to fix the screen there. You got us a
Yeah,
little
I'll
bit
fix
large.
it.
We have the it was third and like 20. It was, and then they ended up getting a first down because of it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, yeah. Did you see him after the hit? Did you see him after the hit, Phil?
yeah, his lip was all bloody.
Yes, I did see that.
I don't want to get flagged on YouTube, so you guys have to look that up on your own. I don't want to get.
Yeah,
flagged
no,
again.
I feel you. No worries. Yeah, it was just those are the types of things that actually are gonna, that's gonna ruin football. That's my
Yeah.
opinion, though.
I understand protecting the quarterback because the quarterback play is so rough and everything, but it's also
Correct.
like
Yes.
it's also like, what do you want to do to the quarterback? Like that was as close to possible. It's a really mobile quarterback that you have to, you got to be sure he's down. And
Helmet to helmet going low, I totally get it, but the full weight and like the roughing the passer, it's hard to agree with those.
Do you think he gets fined for this?
Yeah,
I hope
no.
not.
no, he's gonna get fined. It was
I think
it was
he'll get
considered a flag. We're seeing people find these. They go back and watch every play and watch everybody in each play. And they go back and look for these things. Like if we saw a fullback doing a textbook block on a linebacker on a kick out block, then they find him $30,000. Like this guy's probably going to get fined at least $10,000 on this hit. Probably
And-
more. Who knows?
yeah.
The league might go back and suspend him. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
this is the kind of stuff that happens nowadays. It's like they just find reasons to fine you. They find reasons just to grab a little bit more money from these guys. It's
Ticket
like, what do
meters.
you want them to do? Not play football? You want them
Yeah.
to jump and slap the guy and so he can just keep running? Like, what do you
Yeah.
want him to do?
Yeah. The same
Hey,
people
let's
fining
not- let's
people are
not
the people
feed-
are in flight simulator classes. What, Jordan?
Seth, we just got to be careful because we don't want to feed Trent's conspiracy theory about flag
No,
football. So
they
we
might
can't get
put
too far
flags
down
on
the
the
rabbit hole
QBs.
here.
Yeah. Put flags on the QBs. There'd be less stuff like this. Divas, guys. You want to get into divas? We got anything else here? Any more who hurt you? I said the Chiefs defense hurt me. Chris Olave, I needed all the points that I get this week. He got the concussion. Still had a really good game, but I felt like that could have kept going.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like he was eating, that's for sure. Like Thanksgiving status, like Seth watching the Seahawks on a Thursday night in a dark room with a bowl of potatoes type eating. Like the guy was going after it. It'd be like someone taking the bowl away from you, Seth, halfway through. You know, you're just there.
Yeah, it's comfort, you know.
It's comfort
Need
food.
it.
Other
With
guys,
a stick of butter.
stick of butter.
That was my
Yeah.
spoon.
Yeah. Divas. Want to hop into divas here? We'll wrap this puppy up.
I know what Trent's is going to be. At least I think.
Okay. Well, what's yours, Phil? I think you need to go with the parking meter. Like, I'm glad you brought that up, but I think
Absolutely that's mine. Like, I just think that if someone is making a good faith attempt to make sure that the meter is being paid, give them more. You should have a grace period of 5 to 10 minutes. It should not be, maybe not 5 to 10 minutes, 5 minutes max. You should have a grace period. It was less than 3 minutes that I came back and he had the ticket wasn't there. It took them longer for them to write the ticket than for me becoming late. Like I could see, like he had just sat back down. I honestly am. Yeah, I think you need, like Seth said, he could easily just rip that ticket up and just like mark it into his boss and let him know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that we need to live in a society where you can get out of a parking ticket if your intention is to refill it. That's all I'm saying.
yeah. No, I
wasn't
agree.
taking advantage of the system. I was going back to fill it up. It just took a little time, you know?
Yeah, I agree, Ringo.
Okay, here we go. Let me just finish this with Phil real quick. So I looked up, is it true that parking patrol officers cannot stop writing a ticket once they have it? Okay. So it says, while it isn't necessarily true to a point, if I'm writing a parking ticket parked in such a way that the driver may come back while I'm writing it, you can take your time and fill out standard information first. So if you fill out like not standard information, like if they start writing all this other stuff, they can't, they have to fill it. But if they write like the name, date, area first, they can completely do it. That guy went straight to the point and started writing the essential information, so he could not stop writing it. So he didn't lie to you. He just filled out the essential information, or he was there long enough to where it was too late already. But I mean, if it was 5 minutes, like the guy could show discretion, you know, but it's, anyways, it's dumb.
Yeah.
I'm a father of four. I'm a father of four. Not saying that I'm like, I should be able to just park for free, but it's like, dude, come on. This is my hard-earned money you're taking away from me for being 2 minutes late. This honestly,
you know what's dumb already? The government already took enough money out of your taxes already. So it's like, you already paid your dues.
Phil,
I'm never stopping in Los Angeles again.
Phil, did you put the quarters in afterwards, or did you like say like?
Yes, because I still had to wasn't going to take the parking ticket.
Is he going to give you 2 parking tickets? I think you should have kept the quarters.
No. So what will happen is let's say you take it off or you leave it there. I think you can get another one. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't lived in Los Angeles in a long time.
No, so you should have just went back in and not paid it. I bet you have another hour grace period of not even, till they can give you another one.
That's potentially right. But again, I was trying to do the right thing here. So I just was like, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing, drop a couple quarters in. And, as soon as I dropped those quarters in, they called our food. So that was annoying because then we left.
Yeah. Next time, stay in the car. Jordan, what do you got?
I'm trying to think. I can't really I
can
don't have a
this
good
over
diva.
to Seth, maybe.
Yeah, punt it over to Seth. See, let me think. Let me keep thinking.
Seth, you got anything, big guy?
Yeah, let me just say this. I have to talk about maybe I have road rage, maybe I don't. But the amount of times I see bad drivers on holidays drives me insane. Okay.
Yep.
I'm driving home from my Thanksgiving. Okay. I'm driving home. This guy proceeds to act like this two-way stop pretends to act like it's just a go. And this guy just peels out right in front of me. I slam on my brakes. I'm slamming on that horn. And I was about to get out and chase after this car because he almost just killed me and my family. This guy who I don't even know who he is and who I want to say a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to say. Dude, don't drive on the road.
Save those words for your family in the car.
No, I was so mad. It's just like, dude, like if I'm in the car by myself and I die, who cares? Life goes on, you know, that's great. Everyone else is still alive that I care about. But when my kids and my wife are in the car and you're driving like an idiot, dude, like I wanted to just chase after that guy. If I was by myself, I would have flipped a U, ran that guy off the road, and just would have chewed him out. Either you don't live in this spot or you don't go to this intersection ever, and like you honestly messed up, and you could have told me that while I'm screaming at you, or you are drunk out of your mind, or you're just an old man, or whatever you are. I don't know what you are. Just don't drive, okay? It's not funny. Like it drives me insane.
Maybe he
Was
was
it a
sending us
Dodge
fantasy-
Laramie?
He
Was
might
it a
be
Dodge
sending-
It was
Laramie?
a tiny car, and honestly, oh geez, man,
Probably done more harm to him than you.
No, I had to swerve. I had to like swerve halfway off the road and slam on my brakes, and
What
like
if he
all
was
the other
setting his
cars were like,
lineup?
"Whoa, yeah." It
What
was
if he was
bad.
giving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Pod, Seth?
Well, if that did anything for us, maybe I'd be happy, but it doesn't do anything. So it's like, sure, he should leave a review now.
I need to
don't
know
if I
who
want
this
him to.
is, Seth. I hope you know who it is and you
No,
tell me.
I
after
don't
the
know who
pod.
it is. And if I saw that guy again, unfortunately, there's a lot of vehicles that are like this vehicle that I complain about very often that I won't be able to tell the difference. But anyways,
Was it a
just that-
Tessie?
No, it was not.
Okay,
I think the Tesla would have forced him to stop
you're right.
at that point.
You're right. Probably would've.
Because he didn't like, it's not only that he like almost hit my car, he almost hit another car going the other way too. Like it was
Oh, he
bad.
might have been under the influence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you, I'm sorry, I don't forgive people who do stuff like this. Like it's not okay.
All right. Before Seth says anything he regrets, if he hasn't already,
Was it a
I-
Chrysler 200?
Yeah, let's stop recording right now so I can tell you how I truly feel.
over to our unedited pod where Seth will tell you what he really thinks.
$5. Yep.
My diva of the week is, it's to be myself, but it's to be the guys who complain about losing their fantasy football matchup when they are the second highest scorer of the week. It's terrible. It's the worst thing ever, but it happens, guys. And that's where I am right now. I was the second highest scorer of the week, and I'm going to lose. I ran into the Kyron Williams, CJ Stroud, Tyreek Hill buzzsaw this week. And I have a really good team. I had Josh Allen on my team and Christian McCaffrey, and we didn't get it done. So and it wasn't close either by any means. I lost 133 to 154. So this is a 12-man league. I thought I was going to win this one, and still alive, still in the playoff hunt, like a lot, but just never fun when you're the second highest scorer and you lose. And then, that guy always complains about it for about a week anyways.
Mhm.
But,
Well,
it's me.
These are the games you need to win, though. Like when you put
Yeah.
up the second highest points, like those are the weeks you need to win, because there's going to be a week where you don't put up the points and you deserve to lose, right? And you'll take that loss because you deserve to lose. But the ones where you don't deserve, those are the ones that hurt the most, because it's like, everyone else was trash and you were good, but you still lost.
Yeah, and you have Tweedledee and Tweedledum over there, and they won, 85 to 67 or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's the stuff that's a bummer. And everyone's leagues, they know what I'm talking about. They've been there. They've had it happen to them. So, that was rough. That's never fun when that happens. But here I am all complaining about it, for the rest of the week until next week. They say the fantasy games you remember, you need to win in November. I believe that's how the saying goes. So
Let me
Jordan?
talk to you about this, Trent, real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, were you going to ask
No,
Jordan
no,
if he had a
no.
diva?
No.
I didn't think that was going to be it. I thought you and I were about to go into straight up Twitter warfare last night when you called me out for Trent. It is Jordan. Your dad is the standard for putting up Christmas lights. I haven't driven by your house today, but your dad is
his boys don't help.
Yeah, you're the straight up standard. Your dad is the standard for putting up Christmas lights. Would you agree to that, Jordan?
Yeah, their house usually looks pretty good.
So when does he set them up? I haven't driven by his house today.
It's not. They won't be up until maybe next week. I don't know.
Okay, all right. I always thought it is a class act to put them up the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Is that not the case? I thought he usually puts them up then.
No, it's usually the first weekend of December.
Yeah,
Okay.
because here's the thing. Like I told Phil, I said, 1, are your lights up? No. 1, is your Christmas tree up? No. He's like casting, judgment on the whole entire town because no one's Christmas lights are up. And I'm like, hey, pull the log out of your own eye, buddy. Like, you don't have your lights up and you're judging everyone else's lights. You know, the people who host Thanksgiving usually put Christmas lights up on their house. I think that's fair to say. The festive people host Thanksgiving and then they put up their lights. Phil's asking them to host Thanksgiving and put on a light show all within the same weekend.
Please.
I think it's simply too much to ask.
I also would put divas on without. I wasn't. Trent and I were. I was driving, so Trent and I had not talked that day, and I just get a random text. Hey, just wanted to let you know that 3 people told me yesterday that this is the best turkey they've ever had. You know, I have a problem with prideful people.
It's true.
Also, if I could throw them on there, I also asked who are these 3 people because I want to make sure that I can vet them in terms of them being a valid source. He didn't get back to me with the names, of course. So I'm not even sure if these people exist.
My wife's uncle,
Okay.
and my wife's cousin's boyfriend.
That sounds fictional.
My dad. And my
Pity
grandpa,
vote.
who was a turkey farmer for
Pity
countless
votes.
years.
Yeah, I think those are a couple pity votes. I'll take your uncle, your wife's uncle, because that guy has nothing to gain by being nice to you. But the people who are related to you, I think, are just being nice, like Seth said.
The people who also said Trent's turkey is nice, they put ketchup on their Mexican food, just like Trent. So let's just keep that in mind.
I have some leftover turkey. I might drop some off of your house, Phil, if there's room for me to park my truck with the big old reindeers on it.
I was gonna say that. Phil doesn't have lights or a tree, but you know his Rudolph reindeer.
Yeah, but you could see that
antlers
Rudolph
on his
nose and those
van.
antlers
Oh,
on his
I
van
hate
for
you guys.
miles.
And that big old red pom pom on the front.
Yeah, one time he was driving through Parlier and they thought Santa was coming. So
And just for what it's worth, Parlier is a small town about 7 miles from here. But
this pod needs to come to an end, guys.
No.
Yeah,
I
and this
wanted
thing.
to know I did not put that stuff on my Trent,
Whatever,
Jordan's
dude,
cousin,
whatever.
and Seth's
It wasn't
mother-in-law.
Parlier, it was Ridley. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Hey,
Classic
guys,
mix up.
that does it. We will be back with our normal show on Thursday. We'll have our week 13 preview, start sits, Cowboys, Seahawks this week, all that good stuff, start sits, sleepers, all the fun. And you guys, thanks for tuning in. You know, we really appreciate it. Really helps us out. Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. And as always, guys, take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.